FlyOver State of Film was shot in front of a live studio audience.
All right. This is my give you a little give your editing clap, huh? Clap. The road was long, but I ran it.
Mm-hmm.
The river was deep, but I swam it. And the future is ours. So let's plan it. So one thing to say, and that's damn it, FlyBois, I love you.
Oh.
Welcome to FlyOver State of Film. That's a tribute. I went and saw Rocky Horror live this week, and the great Barry Bostwick as Brad Majors. I just fucking love the shit out of him. He's a great guy. I met him at Comic-Con. He signed my copy of Rocky Horror. It's in a shadow box.
Very
Right,
nice.
I can see it.
Nice.
I'm pointing at it right now. Boys, I'm sorry to come in hot with like a poem, I guess.
Dude, that was hot.
We've gone through 114 episodes, and that's the first poem.
Well, and it wasn't really a poem, it's song lyrics, spoken word. I'm like William Shatner on a stool with a cigarette, like,
And I feel high. It's tight.
it's a kite by then. But anyway, we had a lot to talk about. I didn't want to overdo it too much, but I just, I was feeling wistful, and it's great to see you. But I'm here with my boys. I'm here with Yusef, Joe, TJ. Welcome back.
What up?
The reason I wanted to talk about stupid Rocky Horror, which is great, by the way. This was my third time ever going to a Rocky Horror live show. Okay, if you've ever been to one, they yell things, they shoot, they have props, they throw rice.
I've
they
done the
shoot
room.
water in the air.
Yeah,
They hold up, there's stuff like that. Also, depending on the troupe, they got people up front. They like to act it out. This one is done by like a local, what do you call them? No crap, they're like strippers, but they're a little classier.
Cabaret.
What was it?
Burlesque.
Burlesque. That's what I'm
Burlesque,
thinking.
yeah,
Of.
Burlesque.
A little burlesque group.
Points.
Yeah, nice,
Points.
very nice. And they put it on and everything, and it's like it's like interactive. They do their thing. There's also a person who's like yelling stuff out. This is like person in the cast. This is all par for the course. This is what you pay for. Shit's been going on for 40 years. It's a midnight movie. And I went with some good friends of ours who we've gone with before. And the girl I was with got so mad at the guy who was like yelling stuff out ahead. He was actually, in his defense, he was pretty good. His timing was good.
Okay, so his timing
that like went along with the movie. Like he would, say something and then call and response type stuff.
I'm sure I got this before. I've said this story before, but when I saw The Room, it wasn't like that because it was like an AMC, what's that? What do they call them? Those like special screenings?
Sure, like a Phantom.
Phantom.
Fathom events.
There was a woman in there who wasn't reacting to anything on time, and she was just blatantly talking. Where I got up and I yelled at her, and I gotta cheer, I gotta applaud, because there were guys in the audience that were doing it on time, and it was actually funny. Like they did a Mission Impossible theme when like it pans through San Francisco so slow.
Well, and that's like, this was part of the show. This is like a thing that going
never
into
mind.
it.
You
and
can't
this
get
guy was like
someone
fully a part of it. And now she debated with me on that, but he definitely was. Like we saw him with the cast before the show and everything. And I just thought it was just really wild to be in a situation, like one of the few situations where like audience participation is really encouraged, and that's kind of
Mhm.
like the point of it. And to
Yeah.
see somebody like go the other way on it, and then I saw that stupid girl who apparently is like a Swedish pop star or
Is that what she
something.
was? I kind of
Yeah,
looked
I
into it
looked
ever
her up.
since
She's
that
like some kind
video.
of Swedish pop star. She didn't have an accent or anything, so I didn't really
Oh,
know.
I thought she was some like
But she's talking about
TikTok-y
like,
like influencer.
yeah, she's talking about, yeah, and that could be too. She could be that. I mean, she's talking about like it's okay to talk in the theater, and it's like there's just such a wide spectrum of theater behaviors, and like I don't know. I just
Laughs,
looked it up because it was wild.
cheers, laughs, cheers, and like maybe like gasps if something truly crazy happened
Right.
is only allowed in my mind. You don't have. I yelled at someone at Spider-Man. I yelled at a lot of people in the movie theater.
Shut your trap and stop kicking the seats! We're trying to watch the movie! And if I have to tell you again, we're gonna take it outside and I'm gonna show you what it's like! You understand me? Now shut your mouths or I'll shut them for you. And if you think I'm kidding, just try me. Try me. Because I would love it!
I yell at people
kid
in movies all the time.
at Spider-Man No Way Home because he would just want to talk to his friends in excitement after, and I was like, "Could you please be quiet?" I was like, "Bro," and it was like, "No, you're wrong." And then Laura's like, "I can't bring you anywhere."
Yeah, yeah, I think that's the thing too. It's like she was talking about like sitting there and analyzing, having conversations about the movie
No,
in the
it's
theater.
She's talking
No,
about like a
no.
watch along on your friends at home.
yeah.
Right,
You don't
and
go to
then
the
she's talking
fucking
about
movie
the
theater
opposite.
for
She's
that.
like,
I'll
you
talk
want to
your
sit in
ear off
silence,
at
sit at
home. I
home. Like,
mean,
oh yeah, because that's
TJ,
how
we
that
sat
works.
and watched plenty of movies at home.
And it's like if it's
those are
like
ones we've
if
seen.
it's like a movie we've seen multiple times, but if we're gonna watch a movie for the first time, even at home, shut the fuck up! I'm watching the movie for the
Oh
first
yeah,
time. I don't know
yeah,
what's
that's
happening.
yeah.
I
I love
remember.
it when
Any
people
first time
like
watched
talk
at home
over.
should be treated like a theatrical
Yeah, you
Yeah,
experience.
used to
and
people
then they
talk
talk
over.
over shit, and they go like, "Wait,
What?
what's happening now?" And it's like, "Motherfucker, you were
Yeah, I
talking
long
over it. I
ago
don't
gave
know.
up.
I
You
was
have like
listening to
friends come
you."
over, like, oh, we're gonna come over and we're gonna watch this new movie. No, you're not. You're gonna talk over it because we haven't seen each other, so you're just gonna shoot the shit. And I actually want to see this.
Yeah.
When we were drunk, high, and watching Chucky. Like we didn't watch Chucky technically.
No.
No, it's on. You're
Like
just,
it was there, and every now and again we would be like, "Oh, this scene is cool." And then fucking it's in the background.
when I was in college, I went with my friends. It was one of the new Fast and the Furious ones. I forget which one of the many. And one of the guys a fucking chatterbox, and I turned to him and I go, "Shut up!" Like I have like a zero tolerance policy, especially like when I was younger too. And he's like, "Well, you talk all," and I was like, "That's when we're at home on the fucking couch and we're drinking beers and smoking weed." I came to the movie theaters, and I kind of, even though it's the Fast and the Furious, I still want to hear what Vin Diesel has to say.
You still paid to be there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And people just don't get it. Like that was, and the worst part of that is 90% of the comments, because I looked at the comments on her thing and then like Twitter and a little bit on the Twitter,
Yeah.
most of them were like, "Fuck this bitch," like all this stuff.
It's like
And
if you
then-
want to talk like stay at home
and then-
or go somewhere else.
Yeah,
like,
it seemed
why
like
are you
the
and then
paying
all
to
that
talk?
like, first that was
generation-
considered a hot
Can I-
take.
I want
She
to
was-
Yeah,
out
all
there.
that.
Could we possibly, and because it's the thing now, like especially with these superhero movies that everyone seems to be dulling on, the Marvel reaction fucking videos too, where it's like, obviously if you haven't seen Endgame, the whole like Avengers Assemble thing where
Mhm.
whole theaters go nuts and everyone's got their camera out this time. The film etiquette's just thrown out the window at this point because everyone's waiting for these stupid things. The weird one with Shazam where fucking Superman shows up, Henry Cavill finally shows
Oh
up.
yeah.
It's like it's almost where now it's semi fucking okay to do things like that, and I almost
It's like you just want
Do you
people. Those people just want likes on Twitter.
Do
or
you
on Instagram
remember,
or TikTok. So,
Yeah, but there's still innocent bystanders like us who just watch the movie and all of a sudden some shit like that
Yeah, that's
happens. Like,
why-
"Ah!"
So
that's why I don't fuck with like opening night anymore. Like
No.
I'll watch it on a Sunday when
Do you-
when everybody's hungover and don't want to wake up.
do you
Yeah,
remember?
that was on opening night, and it was a lot. Like I did feel like I was like sitting there next to a person. I was like, Jesus, shut up.
Star Wars, like, was it Last Jedi? Yeah, there was this kid who clearly brought, like, they were like tweens. Like, a girl was like, "I'll go with you, but could I bring my friend?"
Oh,
And
yeah.
the friend was asking questions. I leaned in and said, That was nice. I was like, please be quiet. And they're like, huh? And I'm like, you're
I think
explaining.
I think I ruined the last
plot
Star Wars that came
to-
out. The Rise of
Rise of Skywalker, yeah.
Because my wife and I were laughing our fucking asses.
That's
Every
I'd be
time
mad at
something
you.
dumb happened, we were like, "Fuck!" I couldn't. It was like one of those moments that you know you shouldn't be laughing, so that makes you laugh even more. And we were like bawling, crying, and people in the movie theater were like, "What the fuck is wrong with these people?"
When I saw the brand new It, like 2017 It in theaters, I got one of those early screenings where if you just got in fucking line in time, one of those things you just knew about.
Yeah.
You apparently saw. One of the worst things I've ever fucking experienced with the guy behind me, like talking about the 1990s miniseries, and but he was trying to press some fucking girl he brought with him. I got early press pass. Like, no, we're all sitting in the same seat.
Like talking about the '90s It. That seems like
the clowns.
You know, John Ritter.
Fucking 9, and even bringing up the whole scene with Beverly anyway. But I do have probably like some of my favorite memories, this one in particular, where I saw, this kind of goes into like seeing the film for the first time or second time. I saw Deep Blue Sea twice in one day. I've said this a million times on this podcast. But there's the end of the film where LL Cool J becomes like the fucking hero of it. And the two ladies behind me, if I could have clipped it and had it in my memory forever, I just remember the excitement. It's something that I will always laugh of because it's timed perfectly. It's one of those things that they were perfectly reserved the entire film. And then once that part hit, they lost their shit. And I wish I would have had that forever. But there are times where
that's perfect.
But I think genuine excitement, like I don't think anybody's saying you can't experience that in the movie theater.
I laughed out loud in Megan when she started singing Titanium.
In a whole different direction.
Oh, my wife and I too. That's fucking funny. That was so funny. No, but like in Get Out, I remember this. We had four. I think it was like a ladies' night. There were just 4 black chicks behind us, and as soon as chicks started flipping, they were like, "Fuck no!" But like so fucking loud, and the entire theater were like, "Yep, that's the reaction."
At the start of
every now and again, you need it for sure.
At the start of another Fast and Furious, I swear to God, like years later of my other story, I turn around.
Dude, are you sponsored by
same group of me and Laura go, same group of women you just mentioned. I turn around and say, "You please be quiet." You know, they start going, and the one woman looks at me, she goes, "Shut up." No, and Laura just squeezed my hand and goes, "Let's go." Like it was packed. It was like a Thursday night. It was ladies' night. She goes, "Let's just go in the center, you know, like dead center." And we sat next to some kid who was really excited. And it was a great time. It was like Fast 7, I think. It was a great like movie watching, but like, oh, the way that woman told me to shut up because she knew she had all the power.
Still haunts you.
Yeah.
Every now and again, you wake up and sweat.
She just shrunk you down. You were just like,
and I was like,
I'm just a small bean.
So I do have a question before we like move on to anything. Is there any one time experience like real bad where like not like a talking, but like inappropriate? Mine is everyone here see The Guest, the one with Joel Edgerton and like Jason Bateman.
Oh yeah.
So there's like a real serious thematic like scene of like I think it's like with like an abortion and like in the hospital. It's very like not a time to laugh. And it's not a crowded theater. This couple had been high out of their mind in the back because they just start laughing hysterically. And it was so ill-timed and disturbing.
Yeah, I've been meaning to talk to you about that. I'm sorry about that.
We were like, what the fuck was that? But you can't say shut up to someone laughing.
Yeah. They're having a good time.
I took this back in high school. I took my girlfriend at the time to see The Notebook at like 11 in the morning on a Saturday.
Perfect time.
Not anything about Nicholas Sparks or anything about the thing. Just she saw fucking Ryan Gosling. Fell in love. We see it and it gets to the end. Spoilers for anyone who's never seen the fucking Notebook. It's like when the 2 old people are dying at the end. And it gets super bright in the theater. And this is no assigned seating. I'm just sitting in the middle next to her. And I just kind of take a look around. Again, 11 in the morning. And it's just no earlier than like 65 to couples all over, like scattered throughout like 65 plus 80 years old. They're just holding each other and crying, and I'm just looking around and I out loud gasps like, "Oh no!" And everyone looked at me, just tears in eyes, and I was like, This is affecting me too. I'm sorry, guys. It's just like I looked around, I was like, we're the only people in there less than 16 years
Oh
old.
shit!
Yo, was
Yes.
that your moment of like, oh man, I remember my mom in the movie theaters of like, I need to get my life together. It was right out of college, and or like right then I didn't have a job, but I was freelancing, so I had a lot of time in the summer, so I would just go by myself. And I had like I had a movie pass when it was like $20 a year. It wasn't that cheap, like $5. And I went, and it was Hotel Transylvania 2, and it was just me and another like kids, like
Yeah,
like
children.
16-year-olds, like they're just probably to hook up or like get away from their parents.
We're
And
high. We're high.
the projector broke. No, just me sober by myself. The
No, I meant
projector.
the kids. I meant the 16.
Probably the
Right.
projector stopped, and I was like, I walked out and asked for my money back. I was like, and I'm like, this is low. I need a fucking job.
I'm back here getting a refund on my Hotel Transylvania 2 ticket.
It's
that dark moment,
It's
I
Wednesday.
can fully identify
It's
with that.
Wednesday at 11 a.m.
When I was running my fucking website, I was going to like movies that nobody wanted to fucking watch just because it was a new movie and I
Yeah,
wanted
Hotel
to review
Transylvania
it.
2.
There were moments where I looked around and I was like, what the fuck am I doing here?
Yeah, I did that
What
with
is this?
that year. I did that with like 13 hours.
Why am I doing this to myself?
The one with Joseph Gordon-Levitt walks across the wire. Like that was a weird one to go see by myself.
Oh.
Same thing, Yusuf. It was like, why am I here?
Why is
TJ,
this my
that's
choice?
so funny because I could just picture a young you looking around, being like, "Oh, we should have went to a different showtime."
And shortly after that, we broke up. I'm just like, oh no, we can't. This is gonna be forever, right? So
Yeah.
it's like married, right? Like
You weren't her Ryan Gosling, apparently.
no,
My favorite, like similar but different in terms of like, there was this very small theater in Cincinnati that would bring like very small movies, but it was located in a neighborhood that had like 3 assisted living facilities, but for rich people. Like they looked like fancy fucking apartments.
Yeah.
And every now and again, I would go to see a movie, and it was just fucking packed with old people. That's all old people around me. And I went to see The Last Suspiria, and as soon as that last the third sequence when it's just fucking chaos,
Yeah, like,
I was like looking
the
around.
final
I was
act,
like,
basically.
yeah, I was just looking around. I was like, how are they taking this right now?
It's not the demographic.
All these old people.
Maybe like one aging hippie.
I
who's
like
I
they were
remember
like,
the
this
Dario
looks like an
Argento."
interesting ballet thriller.
Wow, ballet horror, and suddenly it's just like
That's
pure
that
blood.
50 Shades woman.
Yeah, oh,
I seen
Dakota
her.
Johnson. I like her dad in things.
All right, what do we got next on the?
I think Yusef has something he needs to say, right?
Oh,
I don't need to say it, but
He
I was
should.
asked.
Well, we should
But
just like
TJ
let
has an
everybody know because I
announcement.
mean we changed the movie for today and everything.
Oh yeah,
right?
TJ, do you want to do your announcement?
Your big announcement, TJ.
no.
Okay. So yeah. At first, I wanted to rip the Band-Aid, and this was going to be my last episode.
But then I whined like a little baby.
But
Passive aggressively expressive.
yeah, my OCD didn't let me. So the next, I wanted to finish the cycle because we've designed this podcast to be like a book club, and where each member forces the other to watch either a shitty movie, a good movie, or a movie that they love. And TJ already picked. This is Brian's. So technically, we have Joe left, and we would close out with me, which is serendipitous because it would be my last pick and my last episode in this version of our show. It doesn't mean that this channel is gonna die. Joe still has his sphere. Brian is gonna join the cast. He's gonna help fill in episodes that there is no guests. He's gonna
TJ,
probably be
Yusuf,
in with
you
some
want as
guests.
well.
I'm probably gonna step away for a while. I'm kind of burned out on being on camera, and like there's many days that I just obviously you guys bring me up, like eventually like maybe 30, 20, 40 minutes into the show I warm up because the banter is good and you guys are obviously always fun, but it started to feel fake or forced sometimes, and I just felt bad because Like it's not cool that I'm just half-assing it with you guys. You guys don't deserve that. You
We
guys
deserve
still
your
love.
whole ass.
Yeah, you deserve it. I'll still stay on as an editor, and if you guys want me, and I'll still pitch ideas and help you guys shape whatever new version of the show is.
Yeah, you're a true producer.
Yeah, you three can put on a show for sure in the future, and you can shape it however we want in the future. But I guess I'm tired of being a YouTuber for now, at least. I'm burnt out, and I think it came on to also that my other podcast has like a end in sight, and it felt good to know. It felt like I had this sense of accomplishment of like, oh, 45 presidents done. This is the podcast, and then I started looking at hours, and I was like 104, 113 when we had the conversation. I was like, is there like a goal or an insight? And it wasn't, and so I decided to create my own, and my own is 116 episodes. It doesn't mean that I won't come back like a guest spot every now and again.
We don't actually want you.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So
fair.
I'll
just upload.
I was saving this up so I could do it on camera.
Reaction video.
No. Oh.
Like whatever episode you guys do, I'll just.
I don't want to be a YouTuber, but he moved to TikTok reacting to FlyOver episodes.
Right? He's like burning us on TikTok and getting millions of views. Son of a bitch.
But no,
Yeah,
but we did talk. We don't have an official thing. Like obviously we're saying fear and stuff's like full ahead. I'm not done with that in the slightest. But between Brian and TJ and myself, like I know I do want to find a format of this show eventually.
Right. And all I said was not to do away with the show, but put it on hiatus, maybe a little retooling, just because we legitimately have never even done this version of the show with not just the four of us. It's always been the same structure. It's always been the same. And it feels just weird to just be like, oh, we'll kind of do the same thing. Plus, I agree with you, Seth, not as far as just like the format isn't always as tenable, hard to come up with new questions or new answers to the questions. Like, I only like so many movies, we're going to get through them all eventually.
And this still leaves lanes, though, to do things like FLYBOI. If, like, TJ and Brian are, like, we're talking to a group chat and, like, really talking about whatever
somebody
movie. It's
gets
like,
an idea, somebody gets a bee in their bonnet about a bracket or something.
And as always, I mean, this is so far away, but like whether
rewatch.
Yeah, you have that producer brain. You'll get an idea. You'll think of something you want to do eventually, a one-off here or there, or a special, or we'll have that spur of the moment thing where we all watched Halloween Kills and we just had to.
Yeah. Well, no, that's the type of like episodes that really excited me.
Well, the Halloween specials are like whether recorded or not, they can't live without.
And obviously, like life hasn't been easy recently. Like obviously, I keep my personal shit on the side, but like work wise has been a lot. Then we've been dealing with TJ's health, and it just felt I felt that I was faking it. In terms of like, hey TJ, let's do a topic, and I was like, I felt like shit saying that, and I'm like, my dude is like,
doesn't feel good.
Yeah, so it's like it just kept adding to the desire of.
And I wanted to be said that it was like a super easy thing. Yusuf was like, I kind of feel like I don't want to do this. And we were all like, that's cool. There was never any animosity. There was never any hard, like, we didn't have to talk
because I know that, like, technically,
we're fine.
But you got TJ.
I'll say this before TJ goes. Like, I'll say the fact that my trepidation in the beginning, maybe 10 episodes back, or probably towards December when I was, like, really drowning in work and whatever, my trepidation was, our friendship truly was formed online. Like this, we weren't friends at all. We randomly started this fucking podcast, and suddenly we were like, oh, we fucking vibing, and suddenly we're like staying in Pittsburgh, and we're flying to see Joe's wedding, and it's like it wasn't possible without this podcast. So me saying I don't want to do this podcast, I didn't want it to. We
get it. You're bored with our friendship.
Yeah, that you would see it like I don't want to be friends.
Time for some new friends.
So that was my original interpretation. No, you'll see me with 3 white people in another show.
Yeah,
but this is gonna be sports now.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you have made it easier on all of us and just like had a scandal so we could just like kick off?
Oh, yeah. Then we could have like
Hi guys,
what was
it's
that?
fun.
What was that group that I'd never heard of? And then one of their guys became a scandal a
It's
couple months ago.
actually, guys, he's been in brownface for 5 years
Yeah,
and a
actually
fake
right.
accent.
Do it.
It's
I'm
all
actually
been fake.
actually James Cameron casted me for this podcast.
Transracial.
Ooh,
In all seriousness,
spoilers.
actually, when we first decided to do this, I never thought 114 was 116. When we actually do stop this version of it, could have never thought of that or even imagined
I
how much
scoffed
fun.
at 5. Remember when we celebrated 5?
No,
Oh,
and it's like
more
it's
suits
like
and-
116. To TJ's point, it's not only 116 because that doesn't account all the brackets, all the random shit that we did on the side.
I mean, it's not this show, but like over like a year and a half, I have 60 or like 45 like fears into that too.
So it's beyond anything, and also I'm wherever it goes from here, super fucking excited. But also I'm so happy that like we have the type of relationship where he can be as honest as possible, and there's no fucking malice or slight to it or animosity between any of us. It's
No ego.
No ego, no
No,
nothing. I mean, it's
exactly what it is. If one of us isn't into it, it's not gonna feel right. And if he wasn't feeling that way forever, I've had times where I felt the same exact way. Obviously, me dealing with my health stuff, where it's like I feel like I'm putting you guys to the chore sometimes. But the best part is we can all be honest with each other and go through that. And whatever happens, happens. I'm just so happy that you three are fucking in my life and
you
still
as
my-
well. I love you guys.
Fucking love my boys. Fucking love
Yeah,
my boys.
it's so weird because later we're gonna play a trivia game that has to do with FlyOver and blah blah blah, and that's the game today. But I went through some of the episodes, and I only bring this up because TJ, you're mentioning it. Is the first video is literally because I had to pull a thing from it. Is Brian's clip that I had, I guess, last time I looked into it, going, we're only gonna, if you're being you at that time such
that's
an
where it
ego
was in
and
the
being
video,
so
like-
pompous, and you're like, you have me now, maybe we'll make it 5, and it's incredible because like it's almost like if Yusuf wants to in the last episode should get that and edit that shit in, and we could talk about it later. But like TJ just, I didn't want to mention that until later. But like TJ just reminded me of that. And
this last one's special, Mr. Producer. Give us a good
fucking in the last episode,
man.
In the last episode, I just go quiet and I go like Leo, like
you,
they're not gonna take me out.
You
fucking Wolf of Wall Street.
No, you should just
let's keep it going.
I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving. I'm not fucking leaving!
You should just poochie yourself, and your square just flies off the screen.
Out of frame.
And Yusuf went back to his home planet.
Have to go now. My planet needs me.
But no, TJ, Yusuf, Brian, like I appreciate it all, and like that's the whole thing, and like to anyone that actually is listening, or just us, like it's amazing with our friendship to like the transparency and non-ego in this, and we all know what's going on. So for myself, here's to the next couple episodes, but for us,
we're gonna do today. We're gonna finish
all
up
other
this
shit.
one. It's still gonna be a blast. We've got a couple big topics and a really great movie to talk about, and then we're gonna do 2 more. We're gonna do some bangers here. We're gonna go out strong, and then like the FlyBoys.
I will admit, like
the FlyBoys will remain.
Yeah, I will miss, and I mean this truly. This is actually another thing to Yusuf because, like I said, the 3 of us will try to figure something out. TJ picks. They are the most elite. They're the glue that has held this show together, and no one realizes it.
They're their own. They truly are their own thing. They're their
So,
own,
like, I'll still have
special
TJ.
tier.
I'll still have TJ picks in my life,
I don't know,
but to
Brian
make
really...
Yusuf watch them was such a treat.
That's true. You're gonna move out of them.
Like Yusuf.
Faces are the best part of my picks.
Yusuf would be like, let's watch Brazil, and it'd be a different kind of like, god damn it. And TJ would be like, let's watch A Gnome Named Norm, and it'd be like, but maybe
These are
there's
both
some
equally
conflict.
difficult for
one
me.
fucking movie for me. Only one, brother. One.
No, you had good pick. You have good picks, Yusuf. I'm excited to hear what your
Brazil was a good pick, just not for this bunch of dummies.
Every time there's a sale on
No,
Criterion,
I'm
I'm
the
like,
only legit. The proudest pick of mine. It was Too Wonderful.
yeah. Brian and I were
Because
just
that
talking
movie
about
was
that the other day.
that movie. I had it in my back pocket my entire life. I've never talked to anybody about it. It was like my guilty love letter to that movie, and I was like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna
That was a
pick
really
it."
good
And all of you were like, "Oh, that's awesome!" And I was like,
Yeah.
All right, let's move it along. Let's
Move
let's
on,
finish.
but
Let's
thank you
we gotta
for-
"How
come up
about
with-
we do the trivia since we're like in this
Yeah,
love
okay.
fest
I
for
have
FlyOver."
Since we're talking
yeah.
about it, let's move it up.
Yeah,
Let's do
so-
trivias.
So the
Topic.
trivia is
Topic.
a combination of flyover movies and like things that have happened in episodes that are trivia, that are just like factually trivia based. So a few of them are just like movies we've covered, like normal movie a trivia. They're just a flyer movie. So obvious, the rules are like, let's wait to the question, question finish. I'm gonna say answer the question. There's a few that have multiple choice, so I'll read them and then say answer the question.
Okay.
So, and then just
Say
say your name.
Okay.
So, all right, I'll just start, and I have 10 questions and some bonuses. Like I said, kind of just started having fun with this. All right. So first question: in the South Park movie, how many times did they use the word "fuck" as a multiple choice? A, 691. B, 146. C, 221, or D, 189? Answer the question.
Yusef,
Yes.
D.
No.
Brian.
TJ said it first.
B.
Yes, you're correct.
That's what I was gonna say.
All right, so let me get a tally.
So it was 100 something, right?
It was 146.
Yeah, I
and,
remember it was 100, but I was
200
in between those two.
221 was the obscenities.
Yeah, because I remember they broke the record or some shit like. I remember it being 100 something.
Yeah, I'll just write in your initials down for the scores. And Yusuf. All right. Question 2. In A Muppet's Christmas Carol, who did not die? Answer the question.
Brian.
Brian.
Tiny Tim.
Yes. And he did not die. All right. In Cliffhanger, who portrayed Eric Quallen? Answer the question.
Brian.
I heard Brian first.
John Lithgow.
Yes.
I saw the face. I couldn't remember the actor name.
He's fully doing Hans Gruber. I mean, he's just doing
he's
Hans
just-
I
Gruber.
realized the way I wrote
He's not
these
even
questions-
pretending.
That's what's great about it. It's like, good, just do it.
I realized I wrote these questions out literally in order of movie questions, and then it goes only to flyover questions. So there's
Cool.
gonna be a.
So now you can mix them up now.
I'm mixing them up now. Okay, fourth question. What was the first movie that was picked but never watched for flyover in episode 3?
Oh, fuck. I forgot that you
Name that, or answer the question.
TJ.
Yusef.
TJ. Yusuf, you blew yours.
Oh,
Yeah, Yusef, you'll get a second chance.
It was one of my picks.
Yusef.
Brian.
Funeral?
Yes. Death at a Funeral. John Schnepp died like episode 3.
Yeah.
They were in between, and we pivoted to do his doc.
Which was good.
Yeah. And in Detective Pikachu, who was the informant? This is multiple choice. A, Diglett. B, Psyduck. C, Mr. Mime. D, Ditto. Answer the
Brian.
question.
Yusef. Mime. Mr. Mime.
Yeah. All right. So Brian and TJ are tied. Yusuf, you have 1. Still anyone's game.
That's why I'm
I
leaving
kind
the
of loaded a
podcast.
lot of questions.
This is for all the loser has to leave the podcast also.
No.
Yeah. Question number 6. What movie won the Quentin Tarantino bracket? Name that question.
Yusef. Jackie.
Nope. Pulp Fiction. Oh, sorry, I didn't give anyone a. There's plenty of
but it was between Jackie Brown and she went to the finals.
I was gonna say Jackie Brown too.
I believe that was the final.
She went to the finals. Yeah.
What did Asami in Audition use to torture the man in the final scene? Name that movie.
You said
Brian,
Brian, I heard Brian first.
it's a piano wire.
Nope.
So is that not the final scene? Nah, I can't remember.
Yusuf, you said it second.
fuck. That was my answer, piano.
No, it's a very specific tool. Like, I'll say this: I wrote one down, but there was one more like jarring because the piano wire she used to cut, but there's a different.
Something with his eye, isn't it? Like the needle in the eye.
I'll just call it a wash because the acupuncture needle. You just hear those pops. Just so.
I'll give it to TJ.
Nah, I'll just leave it. So we're still tied actually because I fucked up the last two. But thank God this next one, there's a bonus. There's some bonus points to be had. How many lumens out of 10 did Joe and Brian give the gnome named Norm? And how many lumens did TJ give it?
Brian.
Yusuf, I heard you first.
You and Brian gave it 3. TJ gave it 6.
No. Brian, do you want to try your hand?
I thought you and I gave it 4. And TJ gave, I was going to say 6 or 6.5, I guess. So, no.
I'm going to say TJ. I'm gonna say,
you're going to have to prices right it, man.
Yeah.
I'm saying Joe and Brian gave it like a 2.8 or 9. And I definitely gave probably a 5 just to play with y'all.
So TJ, you get the point for Price is Right rules because me and Brian both gave it a 2 out of 10.
Okay.
And TJ was like, Joe, make up your own fucking mind instead of just following what Brian says. So I was like, fine, it's a 1. But then TJ, you gave it a 4 out of 10.
Okay.
And we all gave it lumens, except what did Yusuf give it and what did he sub? And I don't expect anyone to remember these. It's just fun. It was a fun trip down memory lane. What did he sub his rating in as? Not lumens, because TJ said what he wasn't Bravo.
No.
Any answer? It's a bonus point.
I gave it a 1. For sure.
A 1 of what? Do you remember?
I gave it a 1, and fuck, it was something to do with the actor because I was fucking with TJ, but I don't remember specifically.
Okay, it is. I just didn't prolong it because it was also very funny. You used to go 0 out of 10 lumens, but 1 Mr. Potato Head. I do not remember the Potato Head reference, but all right. So TJ gets that point.
I'm falling out, but I'm still gonna play spoiler.
No, we got still TJ's in the lead with 3, Brian you have 2, and Yusuf you have 1. So it's still anyone's game because I kind of wrote down a few. Question number 9. And bonus point if you could tell me what this. No, I'll just say what the question's from, and there's no bonus point. So this is the first ever question asked in the movie Trivia Smackdown. It was asked to Brian because he's a fucking selfish baby who needs to get everything first. But what?
I wrote them down, so I should be the one to remember this shit.
All right, but everyone could answer in this. Wait till I say name that movie. What movie do these characters belong to? Bobby Carter, Doug Wood, Ruby, and Brenda Carter. Name that movie.
Fuck.
This is a hard one.
Can you say them again?
Yes. What movie do these characters belong to? Bobby Carter, Doug Wood, Ruby, and Brenda Carter. And remember, since the movie Trivia Smackdown rules, there was a category, and the category is horror, coincidentally.
Brian.
Yusuf.
I'll just go Brian.
I think it was the Texas Chainsaw remake.
That is incorrect, Yusuf.
Oh, I thought
you got it right in the show.
Did?
You were quick.
You were quick. Fuck.
That's what she said.
Nightmare Before Elm Street.
No. TJ.
Sleepwalkers.
No, it was. I don't think I would have got it either. I just thought it was cute to have it. Her first movie trivia question. The Hills Have Eyes.
Oh
That was my instinct was to say that, but I was like, no, it wasn't.
I'm just gonna finish out all my
Damn,
questions because I had fun putting this together. So question 10.
Go ahead.
What is the name of the first ever episode of FlyOver State of Film? Name that movie.
Fuck.
We
know it.
were doing clever names then.
We were. TJ did a clever name.
Did you do a clever name?
It specifically plays on a scene from the first movie you watched. Everyone remembers it was Swamp Thing 2. But it's like he saves what the fuck's her name from these two guys.
Was it Swamp Predators?
Yep.
Sorry, I didn't say my name.
Brian and
Nobody
TJ are
was
tied.
gonna get that.
All right, so I'm glad I have bonus answers because Brian and TJ are tied, and technically Yusuf could tie it up.
It's also the only thumbnail I've ever touched is that one. That's why I knew it.
And all right, this one is multiple choice. How many thumbnails include the Joker on them?
Oh wow!
Yusuf.
No.
It's a multiple choice.
It's multiple choice. I mean, if you want to say a number, you could say a number, but
So you want to do it? We can do it Price is Right rules.
no, it's all kind of the same.
They're too tight. It's tight.
It's too tight.
If I hear the number, then I knew I'm right.
A5, B3, C4, or D2.
That's it. I feel like we had
Brian,
what do you?
I'm going 5.
Brian would be right.
Yeah, I was gonna say 6.
Because it was interesting. The
7
second
plus?
thumbnail ever, it was the second one. We have Joaquin Phoenix on it, but it isn't the Joker. If you include, it was him with the beard, so I didn't count it.
The last one was
But-
episode 7.
The last question, I went through and counted. So if you recount and you count 6 or 7, I thought I got them all.
Well, then you'll get my imaginary prize.
Yeah. The last question, it's an addendum on this question. The famous flyover flop is the last time the Joker appeared on a thumbnail or in the name. What is it? Name that thumbnail or movie.
TJ. I'm pretty sure it's the name Norm. I
Wait,
know
no.
it's not a good movie.
Yeah,
What's the premise of the question? Flop in what sense?
like we all did not like it. But you have me questioning myself now, TJ, because I thought I got this right.
You might have. I know.
No, you're right. A gnome name not good is
It's the last one we did with the
no. So the answer.
No, don't say
Does
that.
anyone want a different guess? Sorry, I thought I looked through.
I don't really have a guess. Go for it, Yusuf. Go nuts.
But actually, I am wrong.
Is it American Pie?
No, the Joker did not appear on the American Pie cover.
No, American Pie is all our faces. I remember that.
Yeah.
That's a good
Lucky
one.
number is what you thought it was, isn't it?
Lucky number 11? Yeah, that's a good guess.
No, it is.
Oh, well, the TJ one. The big hit or some shit like that.
No.
What's that name? What's
The
the
Big
movie of
Hit?
that shitty movie?
The Wizard?
No.
With Ryan Phillippe and all that shit. I was like, what the fuck is that movie name?
I think the movie Ryan Phillippe in it. What the fuck is wrong with me?
No. I think he's thinking of The Big Hit, but that's got Marky Mark in it.
Marky Mark, yeah.
Do you guys want the answer?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
intrigued.
please.
So a gnome name not good is not the last one. We actually did 2 back to back. So it
So
then
it's
went.
Brian
Then
Pig.
I'll just
Drowning
say
Mona.
It is Drowning Joker. Yep, it's Drowning Mona.
Drowning
You get the
Joker.
point. But at the end of the day,
So disappointing.
at the end of the day, Brian came in first, TJ came in second, and Yusuf came in third. But to talk about our Joker covers, it goes. Then it goes Roadhouse. Roadhouse is the Morrison Hotel cover, and Joker's in the window. And then we did 3 Jokers in a row.
Yeah, there was a streak there.
Any given
I was in the stupid news.
Any given Joker,
That's a good one.
and then Drowning Joka, and then and then we retired it. It looks like at
I
least,
think we did just enough.
and
Yeah.
that was
No,
3 years ago. So more
now,
like
do we count Yusef's Joker cigarette?
I did not because
Trailer
I
reaction.
didn't.
It didn't have its own thumbnail, probably.
That would
Because-
be 6, and I would be right, and I would have 3 points.
But then I gotta count. But then I think I gotta count Joaquin Phoenix just looking all like haggard when clearly was.
Then
about
Price
talking.
is Right rules. I would still win because I was under, and I was close to 7.
All right, but that was the trip down memory lane, and it was very kind of fun actually going through and trying to find shit, hearing us talk about things, and like each stage we all look so much younger,
So different, yeah.
or like
It
and
just
like different
gets younger.
and like different like background living situations, like Brian's fucking
The
Kiss,
big posters and
the
my big
Kiss
poster.
and Belushi, TJ, like you had all your like tapes in the background from when you lived at home, but back in Jersey, and then it like changed to another location. Honestly, I don't remember what Yusuf's looked like. I think it was mostly a plain wall most of the time before that
Yep.
one. Mine was
Do
a
you guys
plain wall.
remember when I was doing the posters?
Yeah.
I would draw posters
them,
and
yeah.
put them in the back.
That was good.
So
Topic!
topic.
Yeah, we got some pretty light and breezy topics. We've probably talked about at least. In fact, let's cut the underseen movie one because we've done that before for sure. And let's just talk about who brought this one. It's a good one.
Mine.
Who was the first actor or actress that you started tracking their career? And then a second part of that, which can kind of work as this is why it's a dual question, why we don't need that other one. Is there somebody right now who's like interested in you, who's maybe under the radar for some people, who's drawing you into projects? So I don't know whose topic it was. It doesn't really matter. Who wants to start?
It's mine, and it matters because it's a good topic.
Yusuf
anyway.
matters.
Oh, look at this guy. Now he wants all the credit. Well, then stay on the show.
No, you can keep it then. I know it's not cool to say, but I remember watching
Kevin Spacey.
a grayish movie in where a headless horseman kills people. And I was like, who is this Depp fellow? I like him. I like this Depp fellow.
That was an okay time to be into Johnny Depp.
No,
That was
yeah,
like-
no. And then it was like I remember watching Blow from Hell, which is not good, but still.
No, From Hell is good. Shut up.
Then Pirates of the Caribbean, Once Upon a
Donnie
Time.
Brasco's
Mexico.
a big one from that era that I really like. It's a little before those, I think.
I love
little
Donnie,
before
bro.
that.
That
No,
was
but
it.
I then started like
Blow.
watching previously, but yeah, like Secret Window. I still fuck with Secret Window.
Yeah, I like Secret Window.
Sweeney Todd. I even watched fucking Rango, and then I
The
went
first
back.
Pirates.
The first pirate. Fuck,
First
yeah.
Pirates is totally acceptable.
First Pirates.
Yeah.
Is
And then I went back and I even saw Crybaby. I remember watching Crybaby. I watched
Benny and June, I'm
Sister
sure.
Hands. Like
Did you watch Mordecai?
no.
Okay.
And
sure.
then he started falling downhill. I
Rum
think the last
Diaries.
one I saw with like this one, yeah. The last one I saw with like, oh fuck, he lost it. Was the Rum Diaries. That's
Dude,
when
the
I was
most
like,
disappointing,
I saw Transcendence. You remember that one where he like became an AI brain
Computer,
or whatever?
or The Tourist with Angelina Jolie.
yeah. No,
And it was like-
the Lone Ranger.
The Tourist was the pinnacle of when people are like, oh, they're just paid for Golden Globes because like it was one of the worst
Yeah.
movies of the year, and they're
They
like,
just want Johnny Depp and Angelina Jolie to come to the party.
Yeah.
Black Mass.
But yeah,
I think
that's
the kind
Black
of one that-
Mass was so like he was a cartoon character in it, and it
Yeah.
was like, and then same with I remember Public Enemies being really like looking forward to it, and it
I
being
wanted
really
to like
boring.
Public Enemies so bad.
I
it just
really
is
wanted
not
to like
very
it too.
good.
I was like, because I remember
that Michael
the
Mann?
narrative.
Yeah.
I remember the narrative being, oh, he's always doing a character. He's not a real actor. And I remember seeing the trailer and I was like, oh, fuck, Johnny Depp's going to act. Donnie Brasco, Rum Diaries, stuff like that. Not Rum Diaries, Fear and Loathing in Vegas. Oh, Johnny's back. Let me see him act. And I was
that
like, oh,
old school Johnny Depp.
this is boring.
I
But-
blow in your blow and Donnie Brasco were the two great like.
Oh, I
Same
even fucked with Chocolat.
Oh, damn. Look at
Chocolate.
this guy.
It's chocolate.
Chocolat.
It's a flower of a movie.
Chocolat.
Thank you, TJ.
But today, I don't have like
I
a
love you, man.
very like a huge affinity for specific actors. Whereas there's one actress that every time I hear she's in a movie, I get excited. I don't particularly go hunting for all her movies, but when I see her casted or when I see her name pop up, and that's Kate Blanchett, I like her. Like
Mhm.
her, and I was excited when she was gonna be in Ragnarok. I was excited when I saw her as the villain in House with the Clocks in the Walls.
Have you watched
Um,
Tar?
I haven't watched it yet.
on
I just I
Paramount,
haven't
I
set
think.
out 2 hours and 40 fucking minutes, but I
Oh,
want
wow.
to see it. Um, and I remember watching the one with
Curious Case
Rooney
of Benjamin
Mara,
Button.
Carol.
Oh,
I
yeah.
remember watching Carol and I being like, "Oh fuck, this motherfucker
Horny.
knows how to act."
You were horny.
No, yeah, it was. It's not horny. That movie's not. It should be. It should have been hornier. And her in the Lord of the Rings and all that shit. Like she's, I don't know. She's one of those actors that I go like, I'll watch you. I'm glad you're here. But how about you guys?
You're
Take
Big
it
Ben
away.
Buttonhead. I know that much.
Oh, she's awesome, and she's awesome as the bad guy in Cinderella, the only good live remake of Disney movies. Cinderella.
That's
Yeah.
not true.
I watched
Jungle
that
Book
one
is
on a
good.
plane.
Pete's Dragon's pretty good.
No, Cinderella, MVP.
TJ, tell us who'd you start following?
Who you start?
Well, before he was slapping people on the fucking Oscar stage, I was a huge Will Smith fan growing up.
Oh
Like
yeah.
Men in Black, Independence Day, obviously growing up watching Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I followed almost everything he did.
I agree with you on this one.
The one I didn't fucking get into is Ali. I don't know why. Big boxing fan. Big
Too
Ali.
long.
Yeah, I just never really saw it. And also, they like dove into like obviously different parts of Ali's life. I was like, if he's not punching him in the face, I'm good. And then even things like, what was it? Fucking, what's the date? The
Enemy of the
Enemy in the
state.
State. Yeah, like those are great, like those '90s ones. But also, those are the ones I
Hitch.
saw like on TV.
Hitch
Like,
is a great rom
it's just
com.
like movies that are like. That's the most.
I think Hancock's not a half bad movie.
Hey, Hancock,
I like
fun.
Hancock.
Hancock's
a little bit
just
ahead of
a
its
classic,
time.
a classic case of like it couldn't decide where I want to be, and it's just messy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Messy, but it's fun. Yeah.
What's the one I didn't go to see when he started like really just doing some weird shit? Not obviously 7 Pounds is a great film and also very sad. But what was the one where he was writing a letter and you don't know if it was actually to like
Oh yeah, that's from a couple years ago.
feature the past, but it
7
started.
Pounds?
No,
Not
no,
it
it's
was what was it?
Winter
It was like a
something.
Christmas movie. And it has a real weird name.
Winter's Tale?
Is it Winter's Tale?
No,
No, it's not
he's in
Winter's
it, but he
Tale.
plays
If I
Satan.
heard
It's
it, I would
weird.
know it, but I'm not gonna look it up.
Yeah, but like that, and there's like the Margot Robbie one where it's like the
Focus is not bad.
Yeah,
That's
but
a
just get to
slick.
that where I just kind of fell off of
I think
it.
Focus and Concussion lost out because people were sick of seeing him try to get that Oscar so hard. They were like,
Focus was like
on Prime
slick.
one too, Gemini Man, where he's like a super.
Yeah, that was bad.
Yeah. Nowadays, like, I mean, for a while it was like me just learning to watch actually good films. So for a while it was like before he passed, Philip Seymour Hoffman. Nowadays, if I see Brendan Gleeson in anything, obviously I haven't seen Banshees of Inisherin yet, but
so good.
It's good.
I have to sit down and just watch one of these days.
I think you would really like it, TJ, too.
Just seeing him in anything
because it's real bleak and mean.
Isn't it?
That's right
Isn't it funny? You said something that's so true though. You're like learning to watch good movies because it's actually a thing. Because I did the same thing. Where I'm like, no, I gotta not watch fucking this Tyler Perry movie that I've been doing this year and like sit down and watch Banshees of Inisherin and enjoy myself.
It's like a movie shouldn't be a chore. Like if you're watching a good movie or bad movie, at least should be for your own enjoyment, not because you're like struggling through.
Yeah. Oh man, I've been watching
like
every.
The movie we watched for today's episode, man. That movie is long, and I had so much fun watching it.
Right. I mean, we'll talk about, but like that movie just washes over me. I just like sit to get into it.
Every horror movie that I've watched this in like new horror movie and I have not been good. I've just been striking out with like bad blind picks after bad like I won't go into
Shudder is the devil, man. They'll just feed you shit all day long.
Yeah, so shovel and shit. Yeah, so I've been doing so mine is very like cliche, I feel like, but like I would say at the age of like 12 or 13, I was De Niro. I just like inhaled every filmography I could of De Niro.
Rocky Bullwinkle.
Well, no, like yeah, like I
Internship.
remember seeing like Meet the Parents and Rocky and Bullwinkle, but like when it was like, oh, when I started watching like films, it was like cool, like
Cinema.
this like Taxi Driver movie I'm doing, and then like like
Goodfellas
seeing
and
like Mean
Casino
Streets and like the whole
yeah.
Scorsese catalog, and even like
Raging Bull.
like New York, and then like
I was rewatching The Irishman. That movie fucks. Honestly.
yeah, that movie's good.
I've actually still never watched it.
You have to get over the PlayStation 2 graphics every now and again, but
it's not bad. And that was like because I remember like Cape Fear. I know I'm just naming the Scorsese hits, but like learning him and then reading like the facts and like the method acting and thinking
King of
it was
Comedy.
so like cool. It was like De Niro, and then like that spawned other actors to then learn about. Like Johnny Depp was in that lane too. Like that little mob lane you could fall into with those guys. Like I gotta watch every Depp movie, but that wasn't a big one. I was never obsessed with him. But De Niro was the first one that came to my mind, and then like from a female standpoint, it wasn't just like she's hot. It was like a Charlize Theron. I remember seeing Monster and being like, I gotta watch like this woman's movies, and then seeing like Reindeer Games and shit like that, and they were very fun.
Devil's Advocate. Young Adult.
You got anybody right now that's like you're keeping an eye
on?
Sam Richardson.
Yeah.
I'll watch anything with Sam Richardson now. Like
I still haven't seen the werewolf one.
It's good.
That's one of my. That's like an underrated.
My wife loves it. We've watched it like probably 4 or 5 times.
Yeah, it sucks. I was gonna say you live in Texas, so you don't have snow days. I was saying next snow day. That's a good snow day movie.
That's the one with Austin. Like
you like Misery, The Shining, and that one just get bunked.
TJ, that's the one with the hot Verizon girl.
No, she's AT&T, and she is smoking hot.
Yeah.
She has shockingly big knockers.
In the newest commercial, I don't want to be crass, but I was like, they've done something here. Like, I feel like something about the sweater they put her in or something. It's like more like maybe they moved the counter up so the counter is like right underneath them, so it's like more aggressive. But I don't know what it is.
Well, it's like claused in her.
By that.
But it's like claused in her AT&T to like not accentuate, like basically it's like that's why she's always like fully buttoned up because she was like
sweater, but like it's a tight sweater.
She's a very attractive woman, and you all would like that movie because it's charming as shit too.
Yeah, and like great cast, like all the character actors that are.
But like,
fun
I'll watch bad. Like Sam Richardson's a comedic actor, so he's all these like side roles, and he was like in The Tomorrow War, which sucked with Chris Pratt, but like. I watched it because I was like, I like to support Sam Richardson. So he's the current, and like that whole lane of like Detroiters, and I think you should leave. And like, I have a feeling with me, I'm like, that guy's going to get the Paul Rudd treatment in a few years where it's like, everyone's going to be like, did you catch the new Richards like thing? And I'm like, yeah, we've been talking about him for years. Yeah, that's my hope.
That's good. That's a good one.
He's very good.
There's no big leading man though right now that's like, or a woman that's like, I gotta see their movie.
Sexist.
So I went more back to like my childhood picks, and it was like somebody who's every time they put out a movie was an event. John Candy. It was like when the new John Candy movie came out, that you just knew you were going to see it, and that even when it became even near the end when it was Wagons East and Canadian Bacon, you were still like, I'm gonna watch me a John Candy movie. Like, make no mistake about it. But as far as
good actor, man.
And then I was thinking about like
this was my shit.
When I was a teen, it was like like Christina Ricci, like whatever Christina Ricci's doing, I'll be there,
You were first in line for
Lindsay Lohan.
First in line for Casper and Now and Then.
Black Snake Moan.
It was Lindsay Lohan for me, first in line. Any movie with Lindsay Lohan at that age.
Yeah.
But
Herbie Fully Loaded.
Yeah. Yeah, that was about when it petered off. Like, they know who killed me. Like,
Oh well, yeah. Then she got that that's a shit. Although that has like a cult following now.
yeah,
I think.
it's because it's cringe.
Yeah.
There's a cult following for everything.
I forgot, but yeah, there's so many fun ones. Like, of the days, like, because like you go like from Us, like I feel like the Jim Carrey, like that was unmissable.
Yeah.
As like a kid.
Well, I think
and then
when you're a kid,
we talked
people
about
have
it on
He went on
runs
a
too.
fucking
Like
Oscar.
people have a run of movies that really
Pauly
speak to you
Shore.
or whatever.
Couldn't miss Big Shorehead. Couldn't miss the Pauly Shore movie growing up.
Carrot Top was firing.
Chairman of the board.
Carrot Top only ever made one movie.
But it spawned the
He didn't
greatest. It spawned the greatest, one of the greatest talk show clips of all time of Norm Macdonald telling the lead actress in that movie that is a bad
Oh
fucking
my god, yes, that
movie.
Conan.
And she does not know how
Conan
to
couldn't
react.
fucking. Conan was like dying. He's like,
Yeah,
Lorne, let it go.
She's like there just trying to sell the movie. Poor thing.
And Norm
Fucking
Macdonald's doing her
Macdonald
job.
deadpanning that it's bad. He's like, why are you
Yeah,
working with
he's
Carrot
like,
Top?
it was chairman of the board, right, or something like
Yeah.
that. The called, and he's like, more like chairman of the board. He just kept like fucking sniping.
You are making a movie with Carrot Top, right?
I made a movie with Carrot Top.
Okay. But what's the movie going to be called? Really?
I know what it's going to be called.
Yeah, what's that?
If it's got Carrot Top in it, you know what a good name for it would be?
What's that, Norm?
Box Office Poison.
There's this movie coming out.
Yes.
Title undetermined at this point.
Chairman of the board.
Oh, all right. Do something with that, you freak.
I bet the board is spelled B-O-R-E-D.
Oh, it's so good. Oh, and my pick for somebody right now that I think is exciting and to watch, and if she's in something I'm interested in it, is Jessie Buckley. She's
great.
Fourth season of Fargo. She's in Men. She was in.
Yes.
She's in that Women Talking right now, one of the Oscar contenders. She's just a really, really good actress, and
She's
just
a
like
very
coming up in things, popping around.
He's I'm thinking about ending things, right? I think it's called.
Yeah, that one, because of my Schenectady, New York. I've been down the Schenectady, New York path a couple times. I've been a little apprehensive about getting into it.
I think it's better. To me, it's not better because Schenectady, New York is like a thing of its own, but it's more concise. It's pretty good. Yeah. But it's literally like a spawn of that.
Oh yeah, I know. I mean, I understand, like, but I just kind of like, But I do like her, and I will like continue to check things out when she is in them.
Stop it! Oh no, movie.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's time to talk about the movie, guys. We know we were supposed to talk about Strange Days, and that's a great movie. Catherine Bigelow directed, kind of neo-futuristic noir. Came out in the late '90s. Takes place on the '99
I never got
New
to
Year
watch it.
millennium. It's on HBO Max. Go check it out. It's a really good movie. Trigger warning for some rape, but it's a really good movie. But when I found out that I was maybe only going to make one more pick for a while, and it might be a while till we're doing this again, I figured it was time to pull the trigger on my all-time favorite. I've done hundreds of hours of podcasting. I've never taken the time to sit down and talk about how great Aliens, Jim Cameron's director's cut of the 1986 classic, one of the greatest sequels of all time. Boys, let's talk about Aliens. Let's do it.
So let me give you a quick little intro for my intro into this film. Well, I used to play football every Saturday. I was so good at football, guys. I don't know how many times I've told you guys that I was a huge football star when I was 9.
Stud.
But instead of getting like ice cream or something like that, if I scored a certain amount of touchdowns, I was allowed to go to Toys R Us to pick one toy. Don't know why I got gravitated to this, but I picked up Ripley in the big claw.
Power loader, yeah, absolutely.
But then I get the
Back
alien one where you squeeze the back of his head and shoots the water out of its mouth to play with. And I'm doing this and having no idea anything about the movie. So my dad just goes like this, hey, come here, pops that fucking VHS in, blew my mind. Never saw Alien before that, kind of same thing with T2 and Terminator. Saw the second sequel before even seeing the first, but this movie.
Yeah, absolutely. I had a similar. I had a similar with TJ where I did kind of find the toys first because, like, they used to market R-rated content to kids in the late 80s, early 90s. It ruled, and then like around, I think I was like 11, and my dad took me to see Alien 3 in the theater. And that was what kind of like sparked my love of the franchise. And then I found Alien after that. And then like once I got the quadrilogy box set and I discovered the director's cut, I remember sitting with the director's cut and watching it with a guy who was like about 10 years older than me, who had grown up with Alien, and him being like, this blows my mind. This is like a whole new movie. Like there's just so much more information that like totally changes my perception. I was like, yeah, this shit rules. You're right. This is rad.
Yeah. That's
These movies also like fall into the thing where like some.
I didn't take a single note. Like I didn't want to look at my phone.
I took some notes just because there's always some things I wanted to say about this movie on tape, and I might as well get them out there eventually, right?
Yeah, this is about you, Brian.
This is all about but I don't want to. I actually, it's funny I say it's like I'm finally going to podcast about my favorite movie. I don't want this to be a point by point analysis of Aliens by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, you come on
I just want to talk about a movie that we all like, that we all know is good, unless somebody has a contrarian opinion that they would like me to shout down.
No.
Sigourney Weaver, shout out to her hairy armpits. I didn't notice before. That's my only hot take, I guess.
Oh, I didn't notice either. It makes sense. Why would she shave?
Woman ahead of her time.
Well, I know on the first Alien, because I'm a bigger fan of the original Alien, that like she was like, you could brush out my pube hair if you want me to run around in the cotton like panties, and because they were like, could you just shave? And she was like, no.
That's something that like rules about her and this whole franchise, is that like once she got the fame from the first one, she like knew how to swing her weight or throw her weight around, and she like continued to be like a producer and like make demands and like get big paydays and have control over like the whole, and that's awesome. Like for the era she was coming up in, good for her. Like
it plays off the character in the film. Like obviously in the first one, you get Ripley, where she's stranded, she's alone, she's fighting this one alien by herself. Now she has this entire corp in front of her, the Marine Corps, and they had the one scene where they're all like sitting there getting debriefed, and they're all fucking Shalon, and they're like, point us in direction, and I'll kill it. And she's like, you have no fucking idea. Text everybody, and like you at that point, you're like, she is everything that they built her up to be, and then arced it at that point where like she's leading them, and also like I've been here, I've seen it. It just plays into like.
That's what makes it such a good sequel. Is it not only like continues but builds on the first movie? You know what I mean? Like
when she goes like with you just saying when she goes after they kind of get their first attack, and she's like, let's get it out of here and just nuke the planet, and basically all of them except for
fucking Burke.
Mad
Burke.
City, was Mad About You.
Great
Paul Reiser
is
like there's a lot of money here, and all the Marines are like, that's a great idea, and they're like, maybe we should start listening to her, and that's like that change in the movie.
Yeah, that's when fucking Kyle Richard no, what's his name in Terminator? Kyle Reese. Kyle Reese was like, yeah, let's fucking nuke this bitch. But
Kyle Reese, because like they do mention Hyperdyne system, that Cameron like ties this basically to the Terminator universe, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, and actually, like that's not the point that I want to make, but something that my wife and I were talking about, like we love the fact that Jim, like Martin and Quentin, has those actors that he keeps like putting in movies. Like Sigourney Weaver is always in Avatar.
She shouldn't have been in the second Avatar. It's still fucking silly as shit that she's voicing a 16-year-old girl.
Obviously, Bill Paxton worked with Jim Cameron a bunch of times.
Yeah.
He's background
and True Lies is so good.
He's one of the punks.
In the first one, yeah, he's one of the punks.
Yeah, we talked about first Terminator plug.
Yeah.
But
what I wanted to say is like, just to wrap the bow on Ripley's like showcase of determination, like she just woke up from a hypersleep for 57 plus years, and her first like reception to this new world is like this board meeting, just essentially accusing her of destroying millions, and she wouldn't fucking back down, screaming at everybody, pointing the fact that hey. And as soon as she learns that there's families there, she's like, "Fuck, I'm not gonna be like." She knows deep down that I have to go back. Like, even if it wasn't offered to her, like she would have probably found a way to be like, "I have to know if the alien is still in that planet."
Well, she's having those nightmares. She can't, you know what I mean? She can't sleep. I really like the direct. It's one of the things I really love about the director's cut. There's a couple of them. It's a 2.5 hour movie with the director's cut, and I think it flows really well, especially the third act. The third act cooks. It's so good. But I really love a lot of the additions to the director's cut are in the first act, and I love that you get to see the colony. You get to actually see people at the colony. That scene, you get to see kids were there. Like, you see it alive. It means a lot more when they come to that desolate, burned out. You know.
You know what it reminds me of? I just watched. It's just fresh in my mind. I just watched this show, The Offer, about the making of the Godfather. And like at the end of it, the studio's all like, make it short because we want to make money with this movie, and like, you know, blah blah blah. And there was a cut that had like all of the movie out and a lot of the Godfather out of that. And at the end, someone says, "Oh, the original cut, Coppola's 240-minute cut or 2-hour 40-minute cut, feels shorter than the 2-hour 20 cut," and that's kind of what this Aliens director cut feels like too. Like the special edition, I have more context. It helps it flow better than what the theatrical release was.
Well, because I saw this one before I saw the original. So like, when you're that young and seeing this movie, then you realize everything they're talking about, and the planet that has the colony on it now, is from the first one. So when you see the first one, it's weird. Like, when you're young, like, oh, so it's like a prequel. It's like, no, this one was the first one. Then this one's the second one. But the way Ridley and James somehow, I don't know much about the background of how it went from Ridley just to James out of nowhere, and why Ridley didn't do the second one. I don't know much about it.
Ridley just doesn't really do sequels.
Especially at that time, like, you know, he just wasn't really into that.
I would say, like, I saw obviously the original when I was younger in the VHS, and then I didn't see the director's cut until later. And then obviously get with this pick, but like the colony for me, seeing it and then getting Newt and like the whole different aspect of Newt, where she's like, you got her family, you don't just get the picture.
Right, you actually get to see her with her family, and that's a whole new context too. That like Newt's survival is even more impressive when you think about the fact that she literally was at ground zero. Like her dad is the first person, and I got to thinking about that. I was like, what if the events played out like they did in the first movie, where like the thing comes off him and he thinks he's fine, maybe even got to go home. Like he could have chest burst at the dinner table. Newt might have seen that shit. Like that's wild to think about.
I like
they
how
even have a little line of dialogue from her mom about like they set up the ducks. Like everything is like there's so much stuff in the cut footage that is so important to the movie, in my opinion. Like seeing Ripley react to losing her daughter, how could you cut that? Like it adds so much context to the relationship with Newt and stuff. Like the idea that they left that out in the original cut is bananas to me.
Yeah, both of them being like quasi orphaned from their families and just finding each other.
I got the
and like there's like this and there's like this moment, I think it's towards the third act, where she just says mommy and jumps on her, and you go like, oh fuck, she just like fully adopted in just hours of relationship and trauma.
Yeah, and seeing this young, you see another kid who's in the first one, they're all adults who just obviously just mining type of thing. But like this one, there's a kid involved that's probably the same age I was when I saw it. So I'm just like,
and Ripley is like inherently, you know, the thematics of it, like robbed of being a mother or have any hope of being that at the start of it, because she's been cryo-frozen for 50 fucking years or whatever it is. And like, but she adapts to it, and like, you know, from the first one being about birth, the second one's about motherhood.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and it also plays with the queen.
Mm-hmm.
That scene is actually like very fucked up. Like
it's two bitches at it.
Like but it's like but the thing is, like, you see the pain of the queen in terms of like she lets her go because she threatens her kid, her egg, and she's like, "All right, fine, walk away, bitch." And then she just fucking kills
Double
everybody.
crosses her, goes nuts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
motherfucker. And she's like, "Okay, I'm gonna fucking hunt you down to the ends of Earth," which is exactly what Ripley just did for Newt. Like she literally went to the depths of hell for Newt, and now the Queen is. So it's like if you just not if you ignore it, you don't see it. But it's like they are fucking tied in this weird trauma circle.
What's crazy is that like that ending shot, right? Or not shot, but like then battle with talking about the mother and everything. It compared to the first movie where the alien feels just like animalistic, and like all this movie, the aliens feel animalistic. All of a sudden, they're immediately like methodical beings that more move like the Predator.
Yeah.
Than
but I
than
think
it's
like
the one that's
it
just
took
creeping
time
behind the egg. That's like, oh,
yeah, but
back.
you know, I was thinking about that, and my thought process was, we saw that alien just be created, you know, in the first one. Like it's just like this. It just happened to have life.
It wasn't a part of a hive. It was like a lone drone. So like it didn't have that communication skill.
They were there for
with
weeks.
The Queen. The Queen is clearly like, hiss, back it up, you know, like.
That's my favorite scene is
they were there for weeks. Oh yeah, when the reveal when he comes out of the fucking wall.
So
when he's gonna attack our Latina queen. No, that was the other lady that gets fucked up.
That's an interesting scene too, like shot wise, right? Because like the movie for the 40 or 35 minutes that were in the vents and they're running and they Vasquez and then blow up. It's basically black and white essentially. It's sepia tone with that color palette, and it's so fucking different from what you've been watching this before. Where you're like, is there something wrong with my screen? It's
yeah,
just, I don't know.
This movie is like it's very well made, and it's like we Joe and I watched Terminator, and my wife and I watch all the time Terminator 2. We did True Lies for this podcast.
We should have covered The Abyss.
Yeah, we should have. I've seen the fucking Titanic a million times, and then watching this one yesterday, I was like, it is so fucking sad that Jim is just lost in Pandora.
I was
just lost.
I think we said it when we were doing our New Year's, our dreams.
He was just fucking batting. He was just batting home runs left and right.
And I mean,
and you can count Avatar as a home run.
Like, he's still batting home runs. His movie just made $2 billion, but like he's creatively bankrupt. Like his ideas are boring. He's so hung up on these like one
me
thing.
Out, and I probably said this in the last episode, but what bums me out is I saw Avatar 2 and I was like, I had fun with it, blah, blah, blah. And then the minute like I kind of put together, I was like, oh, even though there's a third one coming out and in most movies it'd be setting up the trilogy, which you could get excited about, I'm like, how am I getting excited about? Because you told me already you want to do 5 of these and hopefully more in this world. You're not giving me any need to have an end to the story.
Right.
It's just wild.
So, and they're creatively bankrupt. After you get over the effects, which are like, oh, that looks good. Like I said, the movie's a ride in itself.
Sure, and it looks good, and I'm sure it's got some great action beats in it and stuff. Fine, that's fine.
But after you leave that theater, I literally said it a billion times. I've never thought about it again, except when I'm telling people. I'm like, yeah, it was a one and done. I'm not revisiting it, even if I do see the third one in theaters.
I wonder.
It's so hard to swallow that pill, and especially like you don't even have to like just rely on the fact that he is like visually entertaining or he is action packed. Like his characters are so well thought out. Like he took Ripley and morphed her into something. He created this weasel that you can just see like oozing slime out of him, and the tropes of all the Marines are fun, and he gave personality to the
I was thinking Bill Paxton
it's just
is so much fun. Perfectly cast as like a fake tough guy who like instantly folds under the pressure, and then,
he perfectly transitions into True Lies with that character.
Well, I was gonna ask, what's your favorite Bill Paxton? Because mine's True Lies, Bill Paxton.
Yeah, it's hard not to pick True Lies, but I gotta say, I'm pretty into Twister, Bill Paxton.
Yeah, Twister.
Another movie we have covered.
Yeah, perfect 10. Earth End movie. TJ brought up the debriefing scene, which I really like because it's where we like get our flavor of the Marines a little bit more. But like, there's also some weird things like implied by what some of the dialogue between the Marines. I just want to like they say, is this going to be another bug hunt? So like, do you guys think they? But then they act like they've never seen anything like this before. But like, you know what I mean? Like they give the impression that they've gone to alien worlds and just had to like kill like some like grubby kind of bug aliens before, you know.
Yeah.
And then they make mention of banging some type of alien species. So it's like, is this a world where humanoid other human? This is like a. I mean, I don't know. There's like a couple lines of dialogue that really make the universe feel a lot bigger.
Is it?
Well, yeah, like
Yeah.
in the board meeting, one of them straight out says like we've been to 300 plus worlds.
Yeah, that's
We've never
true.
seen something like that. So more than
They
likely,
say, but they say we've never seen something like that. Like, so what are
Brian,
they talking? What are the Marines talking about?
You're the alien expert here. Is that maybe stem from like Geiger's like sketches? That stuff might have been, you know,
Yeah, like I said, I
made
don't
a
know
shit
if
ton of
there's any-
creatures, but these are the ones we use because that's where our favorite movie as a podcast, Prometheus, or one of them, that's where Ridley Scott was like, I have more to say with Prometheus because those Geiger sketches.
Yeah, yeah.
Those
It's
creature
it's
design.
Giger. Joe.
Giger.
The fuck was that?
That was weird. That was scary.
No, did you guys hear that?
I heard the little yelp. Yeah,
I
was
didn't
it a
hear a
ghost?
scream.
Is there a ghost?
Can we wrap up this episode? I'm scared.
I didn't hear a
Guys, I'm a little
scream.
spooked. But no, I guess not. It made me ask questions because I
Unfriended?
was just like more interested in this world of like that they. I would have liked to have seen like James Cameron come back and extrapolate some of that stuff. You know, hey, if you want to make some sequels to some of your all-time hits,
Can I
the Terminator
argue?
franchise certainly could use a hand.
Can I argue that I know that you guys have affinity for Alien vs Predator. I know Brian likes Covenant. I may give it a third chance, but on second rewatch, I still didn't like it. But I feel like Prometheus, Alien, and Aliens is like the perfect trilogy if you wanted to just bookmark those.
Oh yeah, you could wrap it up with just that. Like if you were just gonna hit, like we do with like we talk about with Halloween, 2 and H2O. Like you can pick and choose and make your trilogy out of whatever you like.
Yeah,
those are three like undeniable bangers in my head.
Yeah,
I'm printing posters out for my room, like utilizing where I work, and I was trying to find a high res of Prometheus today because I was like, I'd like to, but I can't. It's not many
hard to find.
Yeah, good resolution printing.
You know what wasn't meant for high res? Vasquez brown face. Woo!
I wanted to bring this up because God knows we all love Jeanette Goldstein. Hell of an actress, truly.
But me watching it on my beautiful big screen on that high definition
actual Latino wife.
yeah, like her like armpits. You can tell like it was like those bodybuilders.
Like Kramer in that episode where he falls asleep in the tanning bed.
My God! And then when she says "Vaya con Dios," but like so fucking muddled in her mouth, she must have said that line like 40. I bet James Cameron was like, "All right, let's try it again. Let's say a little bit clearer, please.
He
A
keeps
little more
using
clear."
the same actresses and just how to keep her that as Vasquez, the tough Latina.
I did note that this movie passes the Bechdel test because Vasquez and the other female pilot, I think her name is Pharaoh, have a conversation about something that is not a man. So good for them.
Mute and
I remember hearing a thing like in a podcast with Vasquez being like a big part of the Latino population did not know like she wasn't.
It was
Latina.
Like what's his nude from Short Circuit. Like,
and they were like, "Oh, that's a bummer because like I thought it was so fucking cool that she was this badass this whole character, and there's just this brown face, and I didn't realize it's the woman from Terminator."
Where we had a great opportunity for a little bit of representation. Now you look back at it, and you're like, ugh.
Like
it also passes the
woman
Bechdel test when Ripley says, Get your hands off her, you bitch, to the
Get away
queen, because the
from
queen
her,
is a
you
female as
bitch.
well, so there's two females.
Actually, I would say their whole wordless dialogue what we were talking about earlier, where she's threatening the eggs, that passes the Bechdel test, really.
The other scene that I fucking love is so well shot and the reveal is so well made is when Ripley falls asleep under the bed and wakes up with Newt and she starts to piece together everything. She's like, my gun is not here. The vials are broken in front of me. The door is closed. Oh, I'm getting screwed over. Like she just connects every single dot together.
Well, when I was talking about the third act, like pretty much from that moment, the moment she wakes up, the movie takes off with a rocket strapped to its back. It's like that whole sequence with them fighting with the facehuggers, right into them confronting Burke, which goes into the power cutting where it goes all red, like you were talking about, the monochromatic scene with the red. So you have that whole action sequence. Them
fucking
going
Michael
through the
Biehn.
fence,
Michael Biehn opening the crate and looking at all the fucking
aliens come through. That's the best. The whole scene. I mean, it's a masterclass in tension with the whole. They take the way Ridley establishes the motion detector in Alien, and then they find a way to like. That's another great thing that James Cameron does. He like respects what Ridley does in the first movie and adds to it. He doesn't try to change it. He doesn't try to, you know what I mean? He only builds on it. And
James Cameron knows how to make a movie, and I mean this in the best way possible, a ride.
Oh yeah,
because it feels like that at the end.
When he had the goodwill off of making the Terminator, he didn't. They didn't saddle him with aliens. He loved Alien and he wanted to make Aliens. You know what I mean? So like, and that comes through, I think, in the way he like fleshed out the world and everything. But yeah, it just cooks all the way through to the end, and it's so good. And I'll tell you what, I have to say, I think I can't imagine what went through the minds of people seeing the chest burster fake out of Bishop, where his chest burst, and you're like, what the fuck? He's an android. What is happening? And then it's that
jarring
huge
every time.
spiky tail. Oh, and the queen comes out of the guts of the ship. It's so cool.
It's jarring every time to me.
And
when
also, I like
Bishop
the.
gets it.
I like the. So in the first one, it's the guy from Lord of the Rings. I always forget his name.
Ian Holm.
Yes. But here, Bishop has the same hair as fucking Michael Fassbender. And every time I see this movie, I go like, fuck, look at Michael Fassbender. Like, you can see the fucking lineage of those androids.
I love that.
And I like that he's a good guy. You know?
Yeah.
Because I'm accustomed.
Well, they play into that because Ridley has to like
Prometheus.
question him, you know.
Oh, yeah. My wife had a great joke. Yes, she had a great joke yesterday, and we were talking when we were talking about James Cameron being stuck in Pandora. She said like it's essentially what fucking Mike Zuckerberg did with Facebook, and just drowning everything in the metaverse. He's just stuck in the metaverse and he doesn't want to get out into the real world. And just James Cameron's just fucking stuck in Pandora and doesn't want to accept that the world around him is just burning.
Well, he loves the ocean so much. He was like, well, all I want to do is ocean stuff. And so I'm just going to like, but the way I make my money to do ocean stuff is by making movies. So I'll make my movies ocean stuff too so I can have, I can just do my thing.
I've been in a deep...
And he knows how to tap into the lizard part of people's brains. And
I've been in a deep South Park watch, and I'm hitting episodes I don't even remember seeing, and well before like the new Avatar and everything, it's just a joke of James Cameron being the guy deep down in the pod, like finding shit in the bottom of the ocean, and I'm like, God, this has just been this guy's aesthetic ever since the Titanic, and people are willing to rip on it, even in like 2007.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, we miss you, James. We'd love to see you do literally anything else. Is there anything else we need to talk about with Aliens? I mean,
dude, I legit did not take a single fucking note.
No, it's
and I felt like I've talked the most in a while because this is such a good fucking movie and it just stays in your head.
Yusuf's me when I switched positions in my job, but I went out on one last big job and I was like, do I really want to be switching this position and doing something else? I got my love back.
There's there's a Seinfeld episode about that when you're gonna break up or maybe it's a Friends episode.
Yeah, it might be a
when you're gonna break up and you start like nostalging about it, and you're like, oh, maybe I shouldn't actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
I think
get wistful for the good times.
You're like, that was actually really great.
Why
You're
do
like, no.
I actually? Why do I want to break? Why do we want to break up?
But yeah, I don't know. Aliens, like.
Let's go into the ratings
phase.
Easy.
I mean, I'll start this off. It's gonna clear. Can't go perfect because you can't get any better than perfect. So I'm gonna go 9.5. I love Sigourney Weaver and a nice pair of tidy whities every time.
They were grayish
though. Sure, whatever, dude.
Just cotton underpants, okay? All right.
She could be
keep it straight.
First couple moments for a young boy, I tell you what, that Ghostbusters. But
yeah, I'll go next. I disagree. I gave Twister a 10, and I'm gonna give this one a 10 as well. And I gave Drunken Master a 10 too. This is a legitimately, arguably perfect movie.
Yeah, easily.
Go ahead, Joe.
All right. I think them the lowest ranked on this because I like really love the first one, and I have always felt the length myself in this movie. It's not to say I don't like it. It's just a movie I have always felt its length. But it's right there. It's a 9.3 alien eggs. Like it says, I feel like it is close to a perfect movie. It's just within this world there are two
fucking panning out from the egg drop and just going, oh, this fucking bitch.
Oh, they reveal the weird, gross egg sac, and then the way it kind of slowly comes up her body, and she's like all asleep. She raises her head, and you see her. She's got that kind of like hood, and her real jaw comes out from under it.
So good.
The way that sack like squelches too.
When she rips off of the sack to get away, it's so grim. It's gross.
So that's the reasoning behind my lower but still high score.
Respect. It's a 9, dude.
You can't do lower than Brian's gonna be like, I know it's my favorite movie, but like 8.8.
I start listing off all these like minor complaints that I've been holding back on. Take some notes, and I've been meaning to get them.
Wouldn't the acid blood really just spurt everywhere, and they would have all really died there?
They are very liberal with when they choose to adhere to the acid blood in this one. Like Vasquez is on her back shooting up at an alien, and hitting it, and no acid is hitting her. It's fine.
The tanning lotion.
You can't nitpick it.
The tanning lotion had some chemicals.
It just made her look like she had vitiligo. It like revealed the white.
Wiping off the brown.
Just one of those baseball sticks just to mark it up.
Obviously, this is a perfect 10 movie for me. I have watched it countless times. I think it's a brilliantly paced and structured and written and directed piece of art, especially for a sci-fi action movie. In this genre, it stands so tall. You know what I mean? Like, it's a watershed movie. It's a movie that, just as much as Alien was, it came along and also became a movie to imitate and to mimic and to try to, like, everybody was trying to do the next Aliens, and many imitators, and nobody ever really reached it. So yeah, I mean, obviously, no question for me. Perfect 10 movie, beautiful art, piece of beautiful art.
Great final pick.
Oh,
it was fun. Joe, what is your final pick?
This was hard to come up with, and I didn't.
Not for TJ, it wasn't.
I feel bad for TJ there.
I don't.
No, I don't.
I feel
it was his perfect last pick.
Yeah, exactly. It's what he deserves.
All right. Well,
it was Anthony Michael Hall and another shitty movie.
That's fair. That's fair.
It was all TJ.
So I'm going in Brian's direction, where I'm like picking something that like is a favorite that I've stayed away from picking. Bob pandering. I want to do a double feature, but I won't put that on you guys because that's just 2 movies too many. I gotta go with Face Off. I gotta bring it all the way back to Nicolas Cage. Yes, would I love for us to watch Face Off and Con Air? Yeah.
No,
I might
But-
anyway.
Face
So.
Off.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
if you're
Mike,
feeling it,
Face
but
Off.
Face Off is enough to fill a whole
Face Off
conversation,
is orgasmically good. That's
and
such a
like I think that is like if I were to have a pinnacle of a movie I'd want to talk about that isn't a look how dumb it is, blah 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 like
Doing straight bangers.
We're doing Face Off. We're staying away from horror because I could just talk about that whenever I fucking want for movies I love too. So, going with Cage. We're going with Face Off, and whatever topics
I'm
that
excited
spurn.
as fuck to watch that movie again.
And it'll
Where can the people find
it'll be my birthday week too.
Oh, it'll be Joe's birthday week. Hey now,
I think
turning
so.
the big 21 finally.
Yeah, 31. Wait, is it the 16th? It's the 16th. So whenever it's that,
Yeah, I think that's
it's
about
around
right.
then. We'll probably record on Valentine's.
We're doing it. We're recording on the 20th.
Okay, so a little after.
21 is my wife's birthday. I'm not gonna record.
So I'll be doing what I do for
Honey,
most
it's
of my birthday.
important, okay? This is the last two. We're down to 2 episodes here.
I'll be doing what I do for
You
most of
gotta
my birthday
understand.
days, and I usually watch Face Off and have some wine and some beers and have all of that stuff. So, but yeah,
Get ready
Face
for a lot of
Off
face waterfalls on the cameras.
and just children that like could be interchangeable for your dead kid, no
Yeah.
matter what. All right,
Jane?
where can anyone find anyone?
Fine.
Oh, I'm just on Twitter at Hercules. Last man standing. I'll stay on Twitter and watch it burn.
I too am on
Cheating.
Twitter and here.
Oh, TJ.
Yeah, same. You guys see me on Twitter, and also stay tuned. Stay tuned. See what happens.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like we'll be back.
Yeah, we're just 2 more episodes, guys.
2 more episodes,
Enjoy.
but we'll have a thing.
Enjoy, Ryan. Bye.
Bye.